The stage was set, the candidates were ready, and America was, once again, subjected to the political theater that is a presidential debate. This time, however, something was different. This time, the truth had a fighting chance.
He was called out, live and on air, for his blatant disregard for facts. It was a glorious mess. The economy was the best it had ever been. It wasn't. My opponent was a socialist. They weren't. And the election was rigged. It wasn't. It was a greatest hits compilation of Trumpian untruths.
But this time, the moderators weren't playing along. They had a different plan, one that would change the course of the debate and perhaps even the election. Armed with facts and figures, they interjected politely but firmly to correct the record. They were prepared, having done their homework, and they were ready to challenge any falsehoods that came their way.
When Trump claimed that he had built the greatest economy in history, the moderator calmly pointed out that economic growth was actually slower under his administration than under his predecessor. They presented charts and graphs, showing the audience the real numbers, leaving no room for misinterpretation. When Trump accused his opponent of wanting to defund the police, the moderator cited the opponent's own words, clearly stating their support for law enforcement. They read out quotes, provided context, and made sure the truth was clear to everyone watching.
Each correction was like a tiny pinprick to Trump's inflated ego. He blustered, he interrupted, he tried to deflect, but the moderators were unyielding, maintaining their composure and sticking to the facts. But the truth, for once, was having its moment in the sun. The audience could see through the bluster, and the moderator's dedication to the facts was shining brightly. It was a thing of beauty to behold. The audience, both in the room and at home, could see the power of truth in action. The moderators had set a new standard for debates, one where facts mattered more than rhetoric. This moment was more than just a debate. It was a turning point. It showed that truth could prevail, even in the face of bluster and bravado. The moderators had done their job, and they had done it well. As the debate ended, the moderators received a standing ovation. They had not only moderated a debate, they had moderated a moment in history. The fact check heard round the world had made its mark. And as the sun set on that historic night, one thing was clear. The truth had won, and it was a victory for everyone who believed in the power of facts. Trump's relationship with the truth has always been complicated. He seems to view facts as optional, as something to be molded and shaped to fit his own narrative. This debate was no different.
He rattled off falsehoods with the ease of a seasoned con man, seemingly unconcerned with the fact that millions of people were watching and, presumably, fact-checking in real time.
The problem, of course, is that Trump's lies have consequences. They erode trust in institutions. They sow division and discord, and they make it incredibly difficult to have a rational, fact-based discussion about the very real challenges facing our country. The moderators in this debate deserve a round of applause. In the face of Trump's relentless onslaught of misinformation, they stood their ground and insisted on holding him accountable to the truth.
They were firm but fair, refusing to let him steamroll them with his usual tactics.
Their performance was a refreshing change from the often toothless moderating we've seen in past debates. It was a reminder that journalists have a duty to challenge falsehoods and hold those in power accountable. And it gave us a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, facts still matter. Section 5. Trump Unhinged, a Portrait in Frustration. As the debate wore on and the fact checks piled up, Trump's frustration became palpable. Each fact check seemed to chip away at his composure, revealing a man who was not used to being challenged so openly. The tension in the room was thick, and the audience could sense the growing unease.
Agitated tone. This is ridiculous. You're all just out to get me. The media, the moderators, everyone here is biased against me.
He grew increasingly agitated, his voice rising in anger as he struggled to maintain his grip on the narrative. His usual bravado was slipping, replaced by a raw, unfiltered anger that was both unsettling and revealing. The more he tried to assert control, the more it seemed to slip through his fingers. Gone was the confident, self-assured showman. The man who once commanded the stage with ease and charisma was now floundering, his frustration evident to all who watched. In his place was a petulant child, throwing a tantrum because he wasn't getting his way. His reactions were not those of a seasoned politician, but of someone who was unaccustomed to being told no.
Frustrated. I have done more for this country than anyone else, and this is how you treat me? It's unfair, it's a witch hunt.
It was a fascinating, if somewhat disturbing, spectacle. The debate had turned into a theater of frustration, with Trump at its center, unable to hide his irritation and disbelief at being questioned so rigorously. Here was the most powerful man in the world, used to getting his own way, being publicly called out for his lies. The fact checks were relentless, each one a blow to his carefully constructed image of infallibility. It was a sight that many of us never thought we'd see. The audience's reactions ranged from shock to amusement, as they witnessed a man who was so often in control, now visibly unraveling. The debate had become more than just a political event. It was a moment of raw human emotion, laid bare for all to see. The whispers among the audience grew louder as people exchanged glances and murmured about the unprecedented display of frustration. It was clear that this was a turning point, a moment that would be remembered for its sheer intensity and the vulnerability it exposed. His gestures became more erratic, his grip on the podium tightening as if it were the only thing grounding him. The facade of the unshakable leader was crumbling, revealing a man deeply affected by the scrutiny and the relentless questioning. In contrast to his previous debates, where he exuded confidence and control, this was a stark departure. The man who once seemed invincible was now showing cracks, his frustration a testament to the pressure he was under. The concern among the audience was palpable. Some shook their heads in disbelief, while others watched with a mix of fascination and unease. It was a moment that highlighted the human side of politics, where even the most powerful can falter under pressure. As the debate came to a close, Trump left the stage with a frustrated expression, the weight of the evening's events evident in his demeanor. The audience continued to react, the buzz of conversation filling the room as they processed what they had just witnessed. The stage, now empty, seemed to echo with the intensity of the night's events. It was a portrait in frustration, a moment that would be analyzed and discussed for years to come. The debate had ended, but the impact of what had transpired would linger long after the lights had dimmed. Section 6. The Dangers of Disinformation. In today's interconnected world, the spread of false information has become a significant issue that affects every aspect of our lives. From politics to health, disinformation can have serious consequences. The real-time fact-checking in this debate highlighted a much larger problem: the proliferation of disinformation in our society. Fact-checkers work tirelessly to verify information, but the sheer volume of falsehoods makes their job increasingly difficult.
In the age of social media, false information can spread like wildfire, reaching millions of people within minutes. Social media platforms, designed to maximize engagement, often prioritize sensational content over factual accuracy, often faster and further than the truth. Algorithms amplify content that generates strong reactions regardless of its veracity, creating echo chambers where misinformation thrives. This has created a dangerous environment where people are bombarded with conflicting narratives and struggle to discern fact from fiction. The constant influx of information can be overwhelming, leading to confusion and mistrust.
This is a threat to our democracy. A well-informed public is essential for a functioning democracy, but disinformation undermines this foundation by eroding trust in credible sources. When people lose trust in the information they are consuming, they lose trust in the institutions that are supposed to serve them. This erosion of trust can have far-reaching implications, affecting everything from public health to national security. This can lead to apathy, cynicism, and, in extreme cases, even violence. When people feel they cannot trust the information they receive, they may become disengaged from the political process, or, conversely, become radicalized by false narratives. The consequences of disinformation are profound and far-reaching, making it imperative that we address this issue with urgency and resolve.
Section 7. Can we handle the truth? The question now is, can we course correct? Can we find a way to combat the spread of disinformation and restore trust in our institutions? It won't be easy. It will require a concerted effort from all of us: individuals, journalists, policymakers, and tech companies. We need to be more critical consumers of information. We need to be wary of headlines that seem too good to be true, and we need to be willing to have difficult conversations with people who hold different views.
Section 8. The future of political debate. The debate also raised important questions about the future of political discourse. Should fact-checking be a standard feature of all debates? Should moderators be more proactive in challenging false statements? And how can we ensure that debates are informative and substantive rather than just exercises in mudslinging? These are not easy questions to answer, but they are questions that we need to grapple with if we want to have a healthy democracy.
Section 9. The power of information. In the end, this debate was a reminder of the power of information. Facts matter. Truth matters. And when those in power are held accountable for their words and actions, it makes a difference. It may not always be pretty, it may not always be easy, but the pursuit of truth is essential to a functioning democracy.
Section 10. Stay informed, stay vigilant. So the next time you're watching a debate or reading a news article or scrolling through social media, remember this: be skeptical, ask questions, and don't be afraid to call out bullshit when you see it. The future of our democracy may depend on it.